Hi again, I'm Jasmine Polly from Wellness Vision, and today we're in day 13 of our Detox for Optimal Energy. And we're going to be continuing on with our liver segment and discuss the third phase of liver detoxification. So, just a quick rundown on what we've discussed so far. Phase one actually primes the hormone or the toxin ready to be conjugated or joined to an amino acid in the phase two, so it can be made water soluble for release. And phase three is where we're going to look at how that toxin is then removed from the body. Okay, so when we're looking at the removal, the liver ejects these conjugated toxins or hormones into the bile that can then be released into the small intestine and eliminated from the body. Now, some things also go into the bloodstream and they're filtered out by the kidneys. So I'm not going to go into great detail about those ones, just to say it's really important to be hydrating yourself because obviously that's going to be supporting the kidney function in that phase. When we're talking about the detoxification via the bowel, though, there's a few other things that we need to look at. Firstly, we need to make sure that we've got good quality bile. Our bile is also produced by our liver and it is stored in our gallbladder. So obviously that is going to be something that can be a little bit tricky for somebody who's had their gallbladder removed. But if there's a history of gallstones in your family, it's also something to be mindful of. There's an increased risk of gallstones with obesity, with diabetes, or raised blood sugar levels. So also considering those things as well. Also in high estrogen conditions. So if you have family history or a personal history of things like endometriosis or fibroids or really heavy periods, then they can increase your risk of these as well. There's some medications that can also increase your risk. Another thing that increases your risk, though, is having low stomach acid. So we spoke about that before, about the importance of quality acid to help with our digestion. Here's another reason, because having good quality stomach acid actually stimulates the release of bile from the gallbladder. If the acid's not strong enough, we may not get a good release of bile when a meal comes along. And it's those times when the gallbladder is releasing the bile at regular intervals that's going to stop gallstones from building up because the bile is being circulated, it's not sitting there and stagnating. But the other thing, it's going to help with your fat digestion that's in your intestine, as well as eliminating those toxins out of the body. Now, if you are somebody that has more of a sluggish bowel function and may suffer from a little bit of constipation, then that actually increases your risk of gallstones as well, possibly because of that same reason that I was just speaking about, because you need to, obviously, is it a chicken or an egg type scenario? Bile will actually help to stimulate bowel function. So really important to look from both sides of the scale. Especially if you're really lacking in bile, you might find that you have pale stools. Stools that float to the top of the toilet bowl are also quite common, or more of that oily residue when you go. So a few other bits that you can think about. Now, when we're actually going back to this phase three elimination, though, it's really important to be looking at our microbial diversity in our gut. So this is back to the microbiome again, and that's why I really wanted to speak about this, because not only do we need that good quality bile, but we also need good quality microbes there. Because if we've got an overproduction of some microbes that release an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase. Now, I know it's a bit of a tongue twister, but beta-glucuronidase is like a pair of scissors, and it can actually snip that join that we've made between the toxin and that amino acid and free it back up. And then the body goes, oh, we need this, and absorbs it back into the circulation, and we're back to the beginning again. So that's why liver issues can cause hormonal issues. Obviously, there's that phase two conjugation. We need that to all be working. But then on the other side, we need to make sure things are getting out. So that really means that we need to look after our gut function, making sure that there's no bloating, no constipation, and things like that, especially if we're really trying to up that liver detoxification. So hopefully that's useful. I wanted to share a few things that you can be doing at home that may help as well. So obviously, first up, water. Second up, fiber is really important. Now, if fiber tends to bloat you when you have more fiber, then you're either not having enough water or you've got an imbalance of gut bacteria, and that might be something like SIBO or a large intestine dysbiosis or overgrowth of bacteria. So that might be where you'd need to get some help to deal with that. But otherwise, fiber is really the key to having a good microbial diversity in the gut. It can, there's definitely a lot of studies showing that fibers such as psyllium or oats can actually help with lowering cholesterol levels and decreasing risk of gallstones, but also good vegetable fibers. I think that they're the really crux of things because they're so nutrient dense as well. So really increasing your fiber, increasing your water. There's also some great herbs and salad greens and things that you can be using, and spices again. So once again, we mentioned turmeric yesterday. Turmeric's also been shown to help with gallstones. So another thing to look at. Globe artichoke, you know that we don't get them as much in Australia. I use the tincture in clinics because it's a great bile stimulator as well. There's something else you can do though. Your dandelion root coffee or dandelion root tea, depending on how you refer to it, is also great as a liver tonic and can help with bile release as well. So that's something there. And the other thing is bitter herbs. So, you know, like your spicy rocket and kale, radishes, things like that are fabulous for supporting good liver function as well. Even things like lemons and limes can be good there as well, and have been shown to improve bile release. And lastly, just to touch on it again, I mentioned that diabetes increases the risk of gallstones. Diabetes increases the risk of having an overgrowth in the wrong bacteria as well. So therefore, it also increases the issue of having hormonal imbalances, and the cycle starts again. So really look after your sugars. Really watch not having too much sugar throughout the day, and that doesn't just mean simple sugars. That's your any of your carbohydrate foods. Try to get most of your carbohydrates from your vegetables and a limited amount of fruit. Anyway, I know that that's a little bit of a rehash on some things I speak about as well, but hopefully that's been useful for you, and I'll be back for our last day tomorrow. Thanks a lot. See you then.